There are only two reasons to ever pay anyone for advice. One is so that they'll tell you the truth. Two is so that they won't. You know that if you've ever gone to a fortune teller, you know exactly what I mean. You only walk in that door if you're so desperate to know something. Will I find love? Am I going to be happy? Should I quit my job? I don't know if they really read palms or if they're just finely attuned to the scent of anxiety. But somehow they always manage to say the exact right thing. I'm sure on more than one occasion, they saw the fiery car crash. They knew about the prolonged bout of cancer. They knew that sudden heart attack was coming. But for $20, they keep it to themselves. It's the novices you have to watch out for. Like Cheryl Beth Kuchler. She is this business consultant, and she dabbled in the fine art of divination. I went to this group of hers. It was called the CEO Think Tank. Sounded really impressive, right? Made me feel like so much more important and successful than I actually was, which, by the way, is something else we'll pay for. So I'm like a teacher's pet. So if there's a chance to hang out after work, have some drinks, I'm there. I don't know how many she had or how many I had. I don't remember. I just know that she tried to get out of it, and I wouldn't let her. No, really. What do you see? Tell me. As she tries to turn my palm over and change the subject. I want to know about my love line. I mean, it's early after the separation. I don't want anything right away. I'm not expecting it very soon, so I say. But eventually, right? Tell me. She kind of always looks like she's in pain. It reminds me of the way my daughter used to look when she was a baby and she was really concentrating on pooping. It was like serious, a little uncomfortable, kind of red-faced. I don't see another one. What do you mean you don't see another one? She tries to explain it to me, something about the line doesn't branch off, or I don't know, it's too short, or I just wasn't listening anymore. And then she says, well, let me see your other hand. I know she's only trying to make it better. She tries to explain that the left and the right hand tell two different stories, that one side is what's possible, and the other side is what happens instead. Maybe I should focus on what's possible, she suggests. It's all I can do not to smack her with that other hand, but I don't. I laugh it off. I think I even picked up the tab, but I don't ask her for any more advice, not about business or anything else. And every time I think about her, all I can think is, I hate that fucking bitch. Women like you make me sick. And she really meant it. Part of me wanted to feign innocence. Like me? How? But I didn't. I knew. She meant women who fuck their boss, and I didn't blame her. I made me sick too. Her desk was right next to mine, so she saw and heard everything. I have no poker face, so I didn't bother to confirm or deny her accusation, and it wasn't too long after that day that she quit. And then another coworker takes me out for a walk, and he says, they all know, and none of them like it, and they don't like me. And they can't all quit, so if we could just be a little more discreet, it would be appreciated. I don't really think I ever told him about that talk. It wasn't the first time I took one for the team, or the last. The first time we sneak out of the office together, he picks me up in a red Jeep Cherokee. He'd just been to the dentist that day, so when I look at him and he smiles like only half his mouth lifts, part of me wants to run. Part of me thinks maybe it's not too late. Like maybe I can turn this tide. I can reverse course on this one. The last time I wanted to run, when I looked at a man, I didn't, and I probably should have. It was only a year earlier, and my college roommate was singing Ave Maria, and all my friends and family are in this little round chapel on the college campus where I had just graduated the weekend before. And the man I'm about to marry is standing up at the altar, beaming at me. I want to feel that thing I know I'm supposed to feel right now. I want to swoon. I want to cry. I want to beam back at him. And all I can think is, what the fuck is he so happy about? I hear the words bounce around in the silence of my mind, and I pray that no one else heard it, not even God, as I take a deep breath and my first steps down the aisle. And now, I'm looking at another man and another beaming face. It happened on a business trip. It was long. It was like 10 days. And it hit kind of like a flu, like your body starts to get chills and you're achy and your head is swimming. You can't think about anything else. It's like you're down for the count. It's a love flu. But like any other virus, I thought I'd get over it. I go to open the door, but I hesitate. I know it was real. It survived the long plane ride home. It survived our guilty reunion with our spouses. It wasn't a dream. And the truth is, nothing in my life prepared me to walk away from a man I thought might love me. So I ignore the urge to run. I ignore the half smile. I climb in that car the same way I walk down that aisle. But this time all I can think is, only half of what you want is in this car. You might drive for miles. You might pull over and make out 100 times. You might shed 1,000 tears, make heart-wrenching decisions all in this car, but you're still going to walk out of it alone. So apparently, early in the relationship, we fucked, and I didn't get off, and he did. So with some frustration, I get myself off. This is apparently a bad thing. It's emasculating, it's punishing, it's mean-spirited. The thing is, I have no recollection of that moment. I only learn about it 10 years later in one of our pre-separation arguments. It's one of many moments of sexual empowerment that I've completely blocked out. Like this guy who finds me from high school, Rich Gunning. He asked me out for a drink. He wants to reminisce, probably other things, but whatever. Okay, we'll reminisce. And he says, you know what I'll never forget? I'm thinking that it's that short, yellow-skirted jumper that I wore the day that I made a speech to become class president. All the guys voted for me, and none of the girls did. So I lost. Yeah, that skirt was cute. But no, you came up to me in the hallway, and you were like, how many times have you masturbated today? I said, what? He said, what? No, you did, seriously. I wanted to tell you that it was going to be one more time now that you asked, but I don't think I could talk. This girl who so brazenly talked to boys, this woman who claims her pleasure, I don't know her anymore. She's like the Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, the Jersey Devil. I don't know how to revive her, or if I even want to. So I lose my virginity when I'm 14, without my consent. I've called it rape before, but that feels weird. I mean, first, he couldn't get hard. And I didn't even really know that made such a big difference at the time. And, you know, when someone's like trying to push something kind of semi-soft inside you and they're drunk and you're saying no and you're trying to push them off and, I mean, okay, rape. But, you know, I was crazy about him. He was 18, a man, a Marine even. He had this like solid block body that I thought was so hot. I lied to my mother to sneak out with him all the time. I'd climb in his car, we'd drive to New Jersey and get beer. I would buff his helmet anytime he asked, even though it kind of smelled funky and I choked. And every time I would move my head, it would like bang on the steering wheel, but that is what he called it, buff my helmet. And he would take his palm and like push my head down. That was like the cue, right? He was a real charmer like that. And he would sing. And he would sing that Kink song, Lola, to me like it was a love song, like I was Lola. It was years before I knew what that song was even about. It wasn't the best introduction to sex by, like, no matter what you call it. And then the next time that I had sex with someone, which really was actually the first time, but I didn't know it, it was so fucking confusing. And I quickly learned that being confused and gullible and naive was a really bad combination. Now, here's what I hate about my sexual history. It is so fucking common. It's like this Me Too badge of courage that I didn't ask for, but I wear it anyway. You gather any random group of women together, and sometimes you can't even find one who doesn't have some tale of sexual impropriety or assault. The worst part is, early in the relationship with someone new, I got to tell them. I mean, if I don't, it's like I'm trying to hide something. But then I say it, and I can't unsay it, and they can't unsee it. And there I am again, grudgingly defined as someone I'm not anymore. And then sometimes they like make this sound when you say it. It's like, oh. Or they like make this face, or they hang their head down, or they tilt it to the side. The worst part is when they say, I'm so sorry. Like, what are you sorry about? You're not the one who raped me. Am I supposed to say it's okay now? Am I supposed to just sit in some pained, awkward silence? Am I supposed to be triggered? Am I precious now? Untouchable? God, not untouchable. Anything but untouchable. So then I have to make it better for them. I have to tell them how I got over it, which I have. But I have to tell them in great detail how I got over it so that they believe me. I need them to believe me. I need them to get over it. Because that's the only way they're going to be able to fuck me the way I want to be fucked now. Today. That's the whole game, isn't it? Trying to get out from under all the ways you've been fucked in the past. Fucked over, fucked under fucked, over fucked. Just so you can get properly fucked one day. So, I think that would be hard to tell. I've told it so many times. And I think to myself, this time will be different. And somehow it's not. It's a week before my 43rd birthday, and I'm eating brunch at a Hungarian restaurant on the Lower East Side with a man that I have been in a roller coaster, intense, open relationship with for almost 2 years. I have the best sex of my life with this man. I rip a t-shirt off him in a fit of rage that leaves him weeping in a fetal position on my couch. In a fit of fucking and fighting one day, he says to me, "I love you so much I could commit a crime of passion." And despite the fact that it's a death threat, we can't stop laughing. My children hate him. My friends think I can do better. They don't understand. This man doesn't just love my good girl. He loves my crazy. He loves my rage in a way no one ever has before. I hide nothing from him, and still he stays. He gives me the one thing that I desperately need, to feel something. I mean, it wasn't a pretty relationship. It wasn't going to make its way on the cover of a romance novel. There was no warm and fuzzy. But I didn't trust romance anymore. I didn't trust warm and fuzzy. I didn't believe in fairy tales and happily ever after. Even when he delivered the final blow to the relationship over brunch, I was grateful. Listen, there's something you need to know. He interrupts me the minute I start talking about my birthday, telling him about this gift certificate I have to a hotel and all the things I want us to do there. I just don't have the bandwidth for your birthday. I mean, if you plan something, I'll show up, but I just don't want you to count on anything and to be disappointed. They say timing is everything, and I think that's true. Just a little less than a month before, I went to what's fondly known as summer sex camp. It takes place at an old Girl Scout camp that now hosts adults-only events all year round. So I show up in high leather boots, a short skirt, a bodice, and I make my way to the meet and greet for newbies. I find 2 lines of chairs facing each other, one for the tops, one for the bottoms. Now, I had just spent the weekend with some friends who, upon my request, put me in a collar and chains for a weekend, just to see what suited me. So I was pretty sure I knew the answer to that question, and I sat shoulder to shoulder with the other tops. I got some really enticing offers. Someone wanted to worship my breasts for an hour. That sounds lovely. So I head over to lunch to find my friends and to tell them about my first experience of the weekend. I find them at this long, full-length picnic table full of leather-clad characters, and I squeeze in between John, who will be dressed as Jackie all weekend, and this square, solid man in combat fatigues who introduces himself as Griffin. Griffin is polite and charming. He has a big laugh and an even bigger smile. He oozes confidence. When he hears my story about the meet and greet, he feigns surprise. "Really? You sat on the top side?" "Yes, I did. I am so out of my element don't even know it. May I test that? Of course. The next thing I know, he's got his hands wrapped around my throat and a bolt of lightning shoots down the middle of my body all the way down to my pussy. I start trembling, but I'm not scared. I am shocked, but I'm not angry. He gently and ever so slowly releases his grip from my neck as he gives me that signature smile and laugh and tells me he'll see me around. I have some lovely experiences over those 2 days, but I managed to not have sex at sex camp and just collect one phone number and one invitation to Florida anytime I want. The only price is my complete surrender at the door. We pay the check in silence. We walk a few blocks in even deeper silence. And then it all comes out. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? And suddenly, it was for all of them. It was for every man who promised something and didn't deliver. Everyone who stopped showing up the minute he knew he had me. Who was so lost in his own mess. Who couldn't be a fucking man long enough to give me a chance at being a woman. I don't even know everything I said. I just know I didn't stop saying it for 3 city blocks. Everything I choked back my whole life came out, and I didn't care that I hurt him, and I didn't care that I was pouring gasoline on him, and I didn't care that I was throwing matches and that he caught fire. And when the words finally stopped coming out of my mouth, I turned around and I walked away. And it only took me 10 steps to know where I was going to be spending my birthday. I hear Florida is lovely in October. Please, God, let it be true. You know what your problem is? It's my friend Bill. I volunteered to help him get ready for a party. And the whole time, he's grilling me about my perfect man. He's a construction worker who fancies himself to be a bit of a matchmaker on the side. And so he's scanning mentally the eligible bachelors that are going to show up at this party for me. It's not like he's the first one of my friends who's going to give me a rundown on my problem. It's not like I don't know my problem. I don't set very high standards. I order short. I don't expect much. So I get the ones that don't deliver much. This is not news. But the truth is, he's actually pretty good. He's got a track record of successful couplings, so even though he's a bit of an egotistical blowhard, I decided to play along. Okay, Bill, I'll play along. What's my problem? Your problem, Monica Day, he yells from across the room. And then, because he's a bit of a drama queen, he comes closer and he lowers his voice like he's about to give me a cancer diagnosis. Your problem is that you would rather fuck an entire football team than become deeply intimate with one man. God damn it. He's right. The day after my rape, I had just one thought. He will not take that from me. My sex is still mine to give. And give it I did. To the next guy I went out with. And the next guy I went out with. And the one after that. And the strategy worked. I only got raped once in my lifetime. But I raped myself repeatedly for about 10 years or more. I eventually reclaimed my sex. I mean, good for me. But you know what I didn't figure out? I didn't figure out love. I mean, how is that possible, right? 2 marriages, 1 affair, multiple relationships, liaisons, crushes, deep friendships, fleeting connections. Surely love must have happened. But it didn't. Attachment happened. Disappointment happened. Hope and longing and pining and wishing happened. Suffering happened. Hot sex happened. Promises happened. The thing is, I don't think I'm alone. Most of us love in the grip. We look for someone who's going to do the least amount of damage to our system. Maybe we check their bank balance, their rap sheet, their STD status. And then we join genitals together to make sure that's going to work out, like at least for a while, till we lose interest. And then we start to try to take care of things together. We get some pets, a house, a couple of kids, check off enough boxes, and we decide to buckle in, hunker down, and see how much of a life we can make of it. It's like we've all just made this pact that that's what love is. You know, it's like we all just decided that a big gray animal that has a trunk and waters itself with husks is an elephant. I mean, we just all say it's true. So, must be true. But I don't know, man. I think there's something else to it. And suddenly, you know, it dawns on me why Cheryl Beth Kuchler couldn't find anything on my palm that day. I think she was looking for that. I think she was looking for the thing that I've already had many times. And you know, if that's true, she's right. It's not there. But I think something else is. It dawns on me that I've been falling in love since long before I met you. And that I'm not really falling for you. I'm just falling. And that part of the way down, my limbs akimbo, my hair flying, my heart porous, I catch your eye. You, who are in your own free fall. Our trajectory and velocity might begin and end in different places, but we're still owned by the same master. Love has been calling to me for so long now. She's been patient with me. She's let me stumble through so much confusion about her. She's let me make her complicated when she's really very simple. She's let me run from her repeatedly. She's stood out in the cold and watched me fuck this one or fuck that one because I thought I could fuck her into me or fuck her out of me or just, fuck that bitch because I could never really trust her anyway. I never understood the sweetness or the sentiment. Love was a barroom brawl for me. She was a tear-streaked girl trying to make her way home too late, slip into bed after another ill-advised tumble, and gather her strength and courage for another day. Because love was a lot of things, but she wasn't a quitter. And now she's relentless. She's accepting no more excuses from me. She's not interested in any more side trips or part-time jobs or dessert and cocktails, however sweet or strong they might be. She wants me raw and undiluted. She wants my full attention. And so, she's given me you like a dare. She's challenged me to fall with you because you're already going that way yourself. But she's made it clear to me in no uncertain terms that if you can't make it, if your dance with her changes its tempo and rhythm, I'm not off the hook. She's waited for me for too long, and I gotta admit, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to be held by her. I'm ready to truly know her. She's as much of a mystery to me as you are. So, I'm going to hold out this hand. I'm going to keep these legs open, this heart wide, this core penetrable. And we're going to play with all our toys, because if we stop laughing, no one's going to want to be around us anyway. But let's not be fools and surrender to each other. Let's keep falling into love without a net. Let's not catch each other. Let's push each other. Let go of me and I'll let go of you, and we'll make each other brave instead of safe. I was already falling into love. I'm not taking anything with me. I'm not leaving anything behind. I was already falling into love. Here is my hand. I'm hoping you'll take it.